first of all, when you want to use Dynamo, if you are in a Revit project, you will have access to your stuff that is in your Revit file, like all the families and all that kind of thing. But you don't have a reference point defined. So that's why a lot of times you start working in a conceptual mass environment or a family environment. So for now, I will start in a conceptual mass because I'm going to work with points. But if you are in a Revit environment, you won't have access to the points. You will have access to family types. Okay, I will open my conceptual mass here. And as I said here, under Manage, you can find Dynamo. Okay, this is 17. It may be a bit different. I looked at.
I have 18. It's the same.
Yeah.
So there's a Dynamo player.
Yeah.
Icon.
Yeah. I worked in 18 recently, and it has improved comparing to the previous one. Before, Dynamo Studio was a total different animal than Dynamo built in. But right now they're almost the same. Now, okay, so here's Dynamo. When you open this, you'll simply just make a new file and it will bring you to this. So just quickly to tell you where things are. So as usual, up here you got your menus, file, save, and that kind of thing. It's not very important. Under edits, you can create nodes. If you wanted to do something that is a new node and you don't have access to it, that's where you can build that new node. Also, you can align your nodes and clean up your node layout. Those are the things you'll access through edit, which is not that important. More importantly, under view, you have access to your background, what you're seeing there. Do you see the grid? Do you see your background preview? Do you see your Revit background preview? Those are the things you may want to turn on and off. We will probably see those, but that's where to access them. There are a lot of packages for Dynamo, kind of similar to Grasshopper plugins that you can go online and download. And maybe a research on that would be an interesting project. Up to you guys with a few working examples and see what packages are out there that are useful. I have explored a few of the packages that were useful for specific projects I was working on, but because it's kind of a trending new thing that is happening, there's not a lot of information on those packages out there. But there are a lot of, as you can see, if you want to go search for packages, it will bring you this, you would accept, then you would go through a big list of things that are available, you can download them and then work with them. It's like a plugin. Then you got the setting and help, which is pretty obvious what they do. After that, top menu, you got your home, which is this environment where you do your scripts. So if you want to add something here, you would just add it here. And you can see the panning is different than in the code than the background. You got these points on the top corner where you can switch between your background geometry and your scripting nodes. The shortcut to that is Control B. So with Control B, you can switch between background graphics and your nodes. So you use that a lot during working in Dynamo. Okay, that's that. And then the view background 3D on and off. You can, as I said, you can go to your background preview. You can turn off your background if you don't want to see it, and you can turn it on whenever you want it to. Whenever you want it to see your background.
Just one basic question.
What's that? Yes.
One basic
Sure.
What is the package and what are the nodes? Because I don't
Okay. I'll get to those. The nodes are basically each function or each input and output you will do. I'll talk about them in a bit. And then the packages are when you want to do something that is not easily manageable through putting together a few nodes, and you want to have a more complicated function that has already been written for you somewhere. You just bring in a package and do that. It's like, let's say in mathematics, if you want to do a plus or minus, you can easily do those. But if you want to calculate something complicated, maybe there is a code written for it. You will just give it the input. It will give you the output out of it. Simply. I'll talk about those in a bit. Okay. After home, the next thing is library. In the library here, you can explore basically all the nodes that you have access to and you can place in. And down there, there's an add button. If you get any packages, you can add stuff through here. Or if you have any nodes you want to load in, that's where to access them. I would recommend going through all of these and explore what's available for you. We will use a few of them that are more important and more common today. But make sure you go explore, because these are the tools that are available for you and they will give you the opportunity to explore and work with stuff. So make sure that you are aware of what's happening. Any of these that you open, you see 3 different types. So the plus green, which is create, so these things will allow you to create stuff. Then you get this lightning kind of red where you do some actions. And then the last one is the query or analysis, where you have already something existing, you want to get some information out of it. Then that's fair. So the create, the action, and the query are the 3 different categories you'll see. Then if you're looking for something, you can search for it here. Let's say I want to draw a point. I will type in point here by coordinates, then it will give me the node for points and all other options I've got for points. So you can search here. A quicker way to access those is on the screen. You can right click and then you can again search for stuff that you're looking for, and it will bring you all the list. You can scroll down and pick whatever is needed and then put it there. Then down here, you got this automatic tool, which you can turn into manual. So here's a big difference between Dynamo and Grasshopper. When you want to run a script, if it's on automatic, whatever you do will show up on your screen. As you can see, if you have a point here, if you have built this, it's already there. But if you change it into manual, each time you hit run, it will update your graphics or geometry in the background. And the reason is sometimes it gets very, very complicated and heavy that the machine cannot control all the changes. You'll just do whatever you want, and whenever you're done, you'll hit run. It will update your geometry. So that's kind of a difference that you may want to work with. And then here to the side, if you have a node selected, you can zoom in on that, or if you have a group of nodes selected, you can zoom in on them, zoom extend, and then zoom back and forth and move and that kind of thing, which is pretty simple.